Uh, greetings, greetings, YouTube universe. Um, my name is Nick Harrison, also known as One Nick Love, and this is this is my first actual post. This is my first actual public post, public video, public whatever you want to call it about my story, about who I am, and it's it's time. It's time to share. Time to share. Time to see some of the things that I've picked up, some of my own personal experiences, and how others may use these experiences, things I share, for their own good, for their own life, for their own path, for their own journey. That's the intention behind my video today. But I wanted to make this specific video, this specific introduction, uh, just to give my background, give my story, so any future viewers, any future views can really get a feel and what was learned, what was processed, what was a challenge, what I've been able to overcome to be able to share. So today, what's today? Today is Saturday, February 23rd, 2019. And yeah, this is this is my first post. This is my first one. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of this. Let's see, where do I start, or who am I? So my name's Nick Harrison again. I am an energetic healer. I'm a certified Reiki master, and I've developed the ability to psychically channel. Just for the record, I'm just a normal guy doing my own thing. I work a normal job. I have a normal life. I have normal friends. I enjoy sports. I enjoy going out, grabbing a beer, healing a beer first. I'll heal the beer. Enjoy. I do normal things. I do, and everybody has the ability to do this. Everybody has the innate ability to uh, bring all this down through them in order to heal, in order to heal themselves, and to share this gift to heal others. Everybody can do it. Everybody has the functions. Everybody has the tools. Everybody has the gift to channel healing and to psychically pick up, psychic channel. There is some steps to it. There is a bit of a process. For some are, it just comes naturally to them. I'll share more on that later. But yeah, everyone can do this. Everyone can do it. So I don't like to necessarily say the word psychic. For example, it kind of gives this connotation that, like, oh, this particular person's a psychic. They can do this, and other people can't. That interpretation of the word. That's why I really try not to use that word. But it's just to kind of give you an idea. So yeah, I've become a healer, and I can psychically channel. So yeah, I just wanted to share. I just wanted to share. So my background. Born and raised in the Bay Area. Born and raised in San Jose, California. Um, normal upbringing, middle class family. Mom and dad, they were there, they were present, and I would say probably junior year in high school, going into senior year in high school, is when I really started to kind of get hits. Is when I really started to get messages that would come through. But at the time, like 17, 16, 17 years old, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what, what I was seeing in my mind's eye. I didn't know where it was coming from. I was just cracking jokes, roll with it. My friends would call me 411 if they ever wanted to know what a girl was up to, or if they're going to pass a class, or if they should ask so and so to a dance, something like that. Um, yeah, back in the day, they'd call me 411. Uh, yeah, that was for about a year and a half until kind of going into my senior year. And this is a long time ago. I'm talking like I graduated high school in 2000, so kind of a long time ago. But um, going into senior year, my parents split up, and my mom was the cool mom, one that would let everybody come over, leave their keys, come party. I worked at a grocery store at the time, so I had an unlimited I had a limited amount of alcohol. I just let my friends come in and steal it, and and I had a place to party. So my senior year in high school, I got to meet a lot of people in the part of town that I lived in. Made a lot of great friends. Um, not like it's a big deal, but back then I was like, I got homecoming king because I had things that other people didn't have, which was a blessing and a curse. I will share that because the amount of alcohol consumption and the amount of life choices and life habits at that time definitely took a toll. It took a toll on my psychic channel per se, or my just seeing with my mind's eye. And it was for a long time. So we're talking like from when I was 17 and was it 1999, 2000, really until 2011. So 2011, 29 years old. So how 17, about 12 years. It's about 12 years of um, just living that kind of life, going out, early 20s, mid 20s, hanging out, going to bars, going to Vegas, uh, just being 3D, 2D, 1D, whatever you want to call it, very physical. That was my life experience during those moments, and I absolutely lost my whatever you want to call this, my ability to read. Um, yeah, so 12 years, and not until I remember the day, it was my cousin's birth, not my cousin's birthday, my cousin's wedding down in the San Luis Obispo area. He asked me to marry him and his fiance, so I got ordained, and I did the ceremony. This was September 10th, 2011. And I remember this. This is very, very, very important day. 9, 10, 11. I've family, cousins, we're all pretty close to the same age, give or take a couple years up, a couple years down. But over the years, over through holidays, we're pretty close, share a lot of things. And I have another cousin who is very cool dude, super cool dude, in a band, and really kind of opened my eyes to a lot of what people will say conspiracy theories. Like, oh man, you guys on it. This was the night before the wedding. We're sitting there having drinks. I'm sober. I wasn't drinking, but everyone else was, including this particular cousin. And he started to share about, like, yeah, man, you guys don't know, like, the the government is, there's a shadow government, the moon's fake, 9/11 was a inside job, Holocaust this, you guys don't know the music industry is run by aliens, and all what the common person would identify as a conspiracy theory. And this isn't the first time he brought this up, but at this particular moment, this time he shared it, I was sober. So I was sober, I was sitting back, my cousin sitting here chatting all this conspiracy theory stuff, all my other, you know what, man, F you, man, yes. Every time you get on your soapbox, every time you get on your soapbox, you're sitting there and you're talking this and talking that. And and so they're going at it, they're arguing, and he turns to me and he goes, it's like, well, you know what, Nick? He's like, what do you think, Nick? What do you think? And so I'm sitting back and I was like, well, I know I'm not in the position to tell you you're right or wrong. I don't know enough. I don't have enough inputs to give an output. I know I'm not in the position to tell you yes or no. Uh, and then all my other family like, well, you know what? F you too, Nick. I was like, oh my God, okay, great. But I'll never forget that moment, because that that moment is when I did a deep dive into 2011, going into 2012. I was 29, um, and it was like, it was a deep dive, and ever since then, nothing nothing's really been the same ever since then. So uh, that that was pretty much my life leading up to that day, September 10th, 2011, from my cousin's exchange, and just sharing that experience with me. And I started to go on to YouTube all the time. I was on YouTube a lot, watching videos talking about diet, watching videos talking about the visible light scale, going on YouTube, watching everything you could possibly think of, um, government stuff, moon stuff, whatever you want to talk about it. And the I was going back in this cousin, I was going back and forth, asking for his suggestion, asking for his input. Um, my schedule at the time allowed me the flexibility to just kind of be free, and I had time. I had time on my hands to really get to know and get to dive into what was he talking about? What was he talking about? Is there more beyond that? Is there more stories? What's going on? What's up? So the two books he recommended that I did read was, I mean, these are the common ones for the public distribution, we'll say, is obviously the Four Agreements. Don Miguel Ruiz read the Four Agreements, and Esther and Jerry Hicks, Asking It Is Given. And for those who don't know what Esther and Jerry Hicks are Asking It Is Given is, it is the kind of in-depth version of the book The Secret. So the book The Secret is the watered down version of Asking It Is Given. A lot of the material in Esther and Jerry Hicks books, they're channeling a being called Abraham. Not everyone's comfortable with that notion, the talk of channeling, or being a full body channel. And by the way, everyone is. Um, but yeah, so Asking It Is Given and the Four Agreements, those books at that time were very eye opening to me. And I started going deep. I cut meat out of my diet back then. So now we're kind of like getting into 2012. I cut meat out of my diet. I started going hiking like every day. If anybody's familiar with the South Bay, San Jose area, there's a hiking trail called Quicksilver. I was there every morning, like right at sunrise, 8 o'clock in the morning. And I was listening to audiobooks a lot, listening to audiobooks when I was hiking, getting my water intake up. I was drinking water like crazy, very on the pH scale. Oh, you got to drink high pH. You got to drink alkaline water. You got to make sure that you're getting the good stuff in there, not any of this over the counter stuff. But yeah, that was my life at the time. Let's see here. It was probably like, yeah, like a month or so in to this new lifestyle. No cutting out meat, hardly drank any, really secluded myself from my family and friends. There wasn't a whole lot I could share with them at the time. And I was just deep into self learning self. And um, I'll never forget this. I was at my office and I was watching the Esther and Jerry Hicks YouTube video of Abraham and the Vortex. So you go on YouTube, look it up, Abraham, the Vortex, and she channels. And while I'm sitting there, while I'm watching the YouTube video, is crazy. It felt like a vacuum punch. So like my body kicked back, and I just felt this punch pulsing coming through my heart, like boom, 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 boom. And I was sitting back in my chair like this, and it was my heart chakra was just bam, bam, bam for a good solid 4 or 5 minutes of, and I was frozen. I couldn't do anything. So I'm sitting back, laying back during the Abraham uh, channeling vortex video. My heart chakra opened. It was crazy. It was the first time I've ever experienced anything like that. And that was once it finished. I kind of like laid on the floor. I was like kind of sweating, kind of teary eyed. Like what was that? What was going on? And yeah, it's pretty crazy moment. That was beginning of 2012. So then a little bit after that, maybe about a week or two after that, I was in my car, I was cruising, I was listening to Esther and Jerry Hicks audiobook. So I was listening to the audiobook while I was driving, and the if you download the Esther and Jerry Hicks Asking is Given audiobook, it's actually two different audiobooks. It was the second one that I was listening to, and I'm driving. And if you guys are familiar with anybody in the Bay Area, Capital Expressway is kind of it's a busy road. You're going fast on it. It's an expressway. So I'm listening, and while I'm in the middle of driving, like while I'm freaking driving, my head kicks back, and the same pulsing that was happening in my heart chakra prior, now is happening in my third eye. So my head kicked back, and it was just like bam, 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 bam on my third eye, and I had to pull over to the side of the road. I had to just sit back and just kind of let it happen for a few minutes, just like bam, 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 bam. And I sat and I just laid there, and I just laid there on the side of Capital Expressway, and that was my third eye chakra opening. At the time, I didn't know what this was. At the time, I didn't know what was going on. I really didn't have anybody to talk to. I really didn't have anybody to share these experiences with. But this is what was happening. So at that time, I started to I continued to go on hikes every day. I continued the diet thing, no meat. I continued the staying hydrated, and then I started to see energy. I started to see auras. I started to see orbs. I started to see people's what was inside the energetic body of not just another person, but of a tree. You know, if I'm walking, I can see a tree's aura. If I'm walking, I can see a dog's energy field. I can see orbs that would flash and would pop. Sometimes they'd have a little squiggly line. Um, Sometimes it would just flash, and they would be different sizes. Some would be small, some would be big, some would be really big, kind of popping over someone's shoulder and they're all different colors. Some of them would pop right over someone's head multiple times. Um, but yeah, from the heart chakra opening and from the third eye chakra opening, I started to see energy. I started to see sounds. I started to see even a car. When a car would drive by, I could see like an aura behind the car. And now I still do, but now I have the ability to kind of turn it on and turn it off. Back then, I didn't. and it was some scary shit. Like what is this? What is this? So I later discovered that the squiggly lines were fairies from the fairy realm, um, and the orbs that would pop were usually either someone's spirit guides, someone's guardian angels, or someone's ancestors, or an angelic being from the higher visible light scale, from the higher dimensions. I later discovered that that's what that was. So back in this time, when I'm really just trying to find an outlet to process this, try to speak this to. I didn't know. I didn't really have anybody to kind of bounce off of. I mean, I shared some stuff, but I could tell when the second it wasn't getting comfortable, and I would just I'd stop. But different. I started to go to different readers, different channelers in the area. Some over the phone, some in person, just to kind of get a feel for what I who I was comfortable with uh, expressing these things, and who had the intention of really being kind of more like a coach. Like I wouldn't go into a reading asking like, oh, when am I gonna meet my twin flame? Oh, am I gonna win the lotto? Oh, am I gonna da 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 da? I would sit there. I'd have my questions. I saw this at this time. I saw this at this time. I'd write them down every time before I would go into a session. I had my notepad, and I would, like, once a week I would go in. There was a gal, and if anybody's familiar with the Bay Area, South Bay, down in downtown Campbell, there's a place called Moonfire Metaphysical. The store owner is a gal named Rocky. The weekend gal was a gal at the time was a gal named Karen Samantha, and I would rotate back and forth between just popping in. I don't know. I think you could do like a 15-minute session for like $25. So like every week I was going in. Hey, hey, hey! This is what happened. This is what I experienced, and they would be able to tell me what I was experiencing, what I was being shown, what was happening, and it was really helpful having that dialogue, that communication to just speak through and figure things out. So I'm really thankful. I'm really glad that uh, Rocky, the store owner from Moonfire, kind of took me in and allowed me to just process these things. And that was, now we're kind of like end of 2012 going into 2013, and yeah, it just made me go dive even deeper into uh, spirituality, into um, metaphysics, different things. I bought a million crystals, either lost them all or gave them away. Uh, just bought more books, way more YouTube, and I started to pick up different techniques, different healing archetype. Archetype is basically a symbol. So a fancy symbol is like an archetype that you can picture in your mind, and you can use this for different purposes. Started working with colors in my mind's eye. If I see a color in another person, I'd ask, hey, what color do you want to neutralize or heal that particular part of you or that particular chakra? And I'd work with colors. I'd work with um, colors, archetypes, vortex healing, different techniques. I picked up how to dowse. Some people use a pendulum. Me personally, that's not my tool of choice. I have a dowsing rod that I carry with me. I started measuring people's energy fields with the dowsing rod. Of course, I try to pick who's going to win football games, who's going to win basketball games. Spirit, hey, show me who's going to win. Who's going to win tonight? Who should I place my bet on? Of course, none of that worked. uh, I've later discovered why, but I tried. So, but yeah, I started to learn how to dowse, and ultimately I started to be able to pick up these things without actually using a tool. just to use our own bodies, basically a big ass crystal is what we are, um, to learn and to work with. And of course, I was still very I don't know how I say it. I didn't learn enough yet at the time. I still had some lessons to learn and to pick up on. I still was very much using these for service to self. I how can I make more money with this stuff? How can I accomplish this? How can I obtain that? How can I get this that with these new tools, with these new gifts that uh, yeah, I had to, I had to get beat up a little bit more. I had to get punched to the gut a couple more times, and so we're talking 2013, 2014. I was working at a restaurant in the nights and the weekends, and that was kind of like my playground where I would use different essential oils. I'd use different crystals. I would send different colors and archetypes to a table, see if it made any difference in the tip, made any difference with their experience. And it's, for the most part, I'd say it did. But yeah, so 2013, 2014, 2015. Yeah, so it's about a good four years from like to day one, 9, 10, 11 to the universe giving me a big slap in the face. Was about 4 years. So 4 years of this total progression of me learning this, me trying to figure this out, me being very low intentions with these things. And yeah, it was okay. So maybe 3.5 years. It was St. Patrick's Day, 2015. I met up with some friends downtown. I we were getting together at a bar. We were hanging out. I drank way too much. Um, Completely blacked out. Don't remember any of it. Uh, Somehow I got up the three floors of the parking garage to where my where I parked. Somehow made it out of the parking garage. Drove some crazy back way home. Turned down. This is all blacked out, by the way. Turned down the wrong way on a one-way road, and I hit another car head on. Um, yeah, that was that needed to happen. That needed to happen. I had messages in dreams. I had messages just in meditations. The whole DUI thing, whole being in a better uh, relationship with alcohol. It needed to happen, and at at that time, it was like, okay, like time to step into this. Time that part of life is over. It's time to really get to work. And I had realized that at that moment, when I got my DUI, I told myself, I was like, this will never happen again. This will never happen again. And the very next day, I signed up for my first Reiki class. Um, so I signed up for the first Reiki class, but that Reiki class was a little bit more into the summer. But yeah, I had to get hit from my direction to go the path it is now. And it's very, very eye opening. Very, I'm very lucky. I'm lucky that nothing significant happened. Nobody got hurt, and yeah. So that was, springtime, summertime, 2015, and that summer was my first Reiki class. For Reiki 1-2, I went to Moonfire, the lady, the store owner, Rocky. She teaches it. There's about 5 or 6 people in our class, and that's when I got my first Reiki attunement, about summer 2015. And that was really my first success story with healing, because now I had Reiki symbols to work with. And during if you don't know what Reiki is, you can look up Reiki. It's just energy healing. Uh, you get you get a Reiki spirit guide. So now I had a Reiki spirit guide to work with. I had Reiki symbols to work with, in addition to everything that I'd already picked up, and my own hard, tough life lessons that now I get to package that all together and present it to someone. So at the time, I had a friend who she had a stent in her heart, and it had stopped working, and she was younger than me, so she had to go to surgery, and they didn't know ahead of time if it just needed a battery replacement, the stent in her heart, or if the whole thing failed. And if the whole thing failed, they would literally had to remove it from all her aortas and all the other stuff that's going on in the heart. And there was a high possibility that during that surgery, if the doctor pulls out the stent or pacemaker, whatever you call it, whatever it was, there's a high possibility that it could rip out the aortas or something, uh, the main valve, the main tube into the heart, that it could rip it out, and that it would instantly go into emergency open heart surgery. That was the possibility. And I literally just got my Reiki attunements. And they tell you, when you get your Reiki attunement, do not do Reiki on anybody else. Do Reiki on yourself. 1 week crown, 1 week third eye, 1 week throat, 1 week heart, 1 week solar plex, sacral, root. So 7 weeks. This is what I was taught. You got to wait 7 weeks before you could do it on anybody, and you got to do it on yourself. And sure enough, like the next weekend, my friend had her open heart surgery, and that is exactly what happened. When the doctor opened her up, the stent failed. They had to pull it out. They had to replace it, and they cracked open her chest plate. The doctor had his hand inside her, like pumping her heart with his own hand. They were able to save her. She made it. She has like a crazy kind of gnarly scar all the way up and down. But from that, she was in a coma for a month. She was in coma for a month, and she was on liquid diets for a month. Um, and then by the time I finally got a hold of her, I was like, I it was like right when she came to, is like right when I got my Reiki attunement. I didn't have any time to do it on myself. And then I go to Rocky, I go to my teacher. I'm like, hey, my friend, she's out of the hospital. She's really weak. She's really sick. She barely made it. What do I do? She's like, you send her Reiki. You send her Reiki. It's like, I'm like, okay. Didn't you just say not to? But she's like, nope, you do it. Do it. Send it to her. I was like, okay. So over the course of a month, half hour here, half hour there, half hour in the morning, half hour at night. It was distance Reiki. So I was in San Jose at the time, and she was in Napa, so North Bay, and I would do distance Reiki. I would do distance Reiki on her over the course of a month. It was probably about 10 hours, like 10 hours combined, that I was doing distant Reiki on. And what had happened was she got like all of her muscle mass back. She got all of her color back. She got all of her cardiovascular back. And she was completely off all of her medications in 1 month, basically from 10 hours of Reiki. And anybody knows, when you a healer just allows the space, allows the environment for the person to heal themselves. Like, all healing is self-healing. And that was my first success story. I was like, yeah, like that was really cool. That was really cool. So I'm very it's very eye-opening. I was like, damn, like this works. Like this is real. This is real. And that was Yeah, so that was like summerish 2015. Little by little, after working with Reiki, work on myself. I do a little bit here and there with some friends. It was probably Mayish 2016 by the time I really started to kind of put myself out there. I started to, started following different accounts on Instagram. I started checking out different workshops. I started to um, just see where else I can hey, this is something. What else can I discover? What else can I find? And there was a gentleman local who at a local yoga studio that would hold a astral projection workshop. I was like, well, damn, I never done that before that I know of consciously. Let's check it out. That was, yeah, probably spring 2016, summertime 2016. And that's where I kind of met a little bit of a community. And I was very quiet up until that point. I didn't tell nobody nothing. Uh, and these were all strangers. I didn't know them prior. But um, that that workshop, I was just like, I was like so excited. I'm just like, oh yeah, this, that, yeah. I can see orbs. I can see auras. I could heal shit. Um, I was like, it was my moment to express these things, and yeah, I wasn't like a newbie. I had 2011, 2016. So like basically like 5 years at that point, being on this path, being on this journey, learning what I've learned, picked up what I've picked up. But I was about 5 years in. Um, by the time I went to my first uh, event, environment, whatever you want to call it, and yeah, so that was cool. Got to meet some cool people. Got to meet people here local. Um, very very gifted individuals, guys and gals. They are healers themselves. Uh, very very thankful for those moments in that community. Um, but going into it was November 2016. November 2016 was when I went to get my Reiki Master certification. So Reiki Master certification. So it was about a year and a half where I had my first Reiki 1 2 attunement. Now I was going to get the Master certification, and I was driven. I was like, man, I want to be a Reiki Master. I want to be able to wear that hat. I want to show a certificate so people know. Like I want people to know that I'm a Reiki Master. Again, all the wrong ideas going in, but I it was like a 3 or 4 day thing, 3 or 4 day workshop, 3 or 4 day class in the Santa Cruz Mountains, which was pretty cool. I learned so again with Rocky, the store owner. She has the Reiki Master class, issued the certificates. Now I have the Reiki Master symbols, and um, that is when I started to experience what people call interference. And I'll get more into that down the road. But interference is where you're starting to get attacked, psychic attack. Nothing to be scared of. There are reasons for these things to happen, and there are ways to overcome them. There are ways to protection. You get to a point where you don't even really need protection anymore. You're just so high; these things can't touch you. But at that time, they did. And going into my Reiki Master certification is when I really started to experience interference. Um, but I still pushed through it. I still didn't. You get a lot of like just doubt thoughts, negative thoughts, self judgment, worry, stress, anxiety, all that stuff. That when those things come like out of nowhere, there's a source for that. It's coming from something somewhere. When it's just out of the blue, um, I'll speak on that more later. But just to give you an idea, that's when I really kind of started to get hit a lot, right around the time of my Reiki Master certification. So this is end of 2016. Now we're kind of going into 2017. Now I'm working with the master symbols. I would go to Half Moon Bay. I had then since moved to Redwood City, a little up the peninsula, up the coast a little bit, and it only takes me about 15, 20 minutes to get to the beach. I get to Half Moon Bay. So instead of going on a hike when I would down in San Jose, now I get to go and do energy work and do send Reiki in at the beach. So started to work with the master symbols. Uh, a lot and sending it to different people. Now I'd probably gone to this astral projection workshop probably 2 or 3 times. Now I've gone like 5 times in total. Every one of those workshops, I go farther. I experience farther things. But yeah, so the combination of the Reiki symbols, Reiki master symbols, along with the astral projection, I was able to do some pretty cool things. And that was the first moment I had experienced channeling. Channeling, if you look it up, channel this. At this moment, it was the Holy Spirit that was being channeled through me, and it was not comfortable in the beginning. It was not something I was really comfortable, like okay with. But it took some time to get used to what was coming through me. So now, instead of a color, or instead of a archetype, or instead of a Reiki symbol coming through, now this was the Holy Spirit coming through, and it would increase my ability to send a healing to somebody. Send healings to my mom at the time was living in Portland. Send healings to friends down in San Diego, Colorado, Texas, all over. I was able to. You can Google it, look it up, and I can get more into detail at another time. But I would astral project to whoever I wanted to do a healing on. I'd astral project to their higher self, and their higher self would literally pull me into their body. And when they pull me into their body, I would do healing as if I was doing it on myself, but my astral self was in them. And then I would scan, pull stuff out, see if the chakras are open, check Bovis units. Um, I'll get more into Bovis units down the road, but this was beginning of 2017, and I was like, okay. Um, and by the way, this whole time, really, like Federal Reserve notes were very hard to come by. Life presented a lot of challenges, a lot of tests, a lot of 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 friction, a lot I had to overcome for these these things to come through over all these years, especially after my DUI moment and my accidents, especially 2015, especially once the Reiki symbol, especially once the master symbols, the tests got the challenges and the pressure got harder and harder and harder and heavier. So I want to say it was August of 2017 where I was offered the position to be the weekend energy healer and reader at Moonfire Metaphysical. So I actually got hired at the place where I would go to. I got hired. Rocky's a store owner. She would be there during the week. And I was asked to come in and work there. And I was comfortable with channel, or I was comfortable with healing. I was comfortable with Reiki. I'd done it enough times, but I was not comfortable with a reading, a channeled psychic reading. I'd never done that in my life. Well, I was doing it. I just wasn't conscious I was doing it. And I never had any kind of training. I never had any kind of nothing, even online. None of that. No tarot card stuff. I knew how to dowse, so I knew how to check for success rates, and I knew how to check timelines. You can look all this up, and I'll get more into timelines and all that down the road. But I was able to gauge hits, gauge, soul communication, soul agreement, soul contracts. I was able to identify these things prior to working there. So let me just do a quick screen share real fast just to show you guys. Oh, yep, right here. So I did a screenshot of the Moonfire website. There's Rocky. Bless her heart. She's having some health issues, but I do what I can to assist. And hey, there's your boy Nick. Yep. Oh, by the way, triple Cancer. Cancer Sun, Cancer Moon, Cancer Rising. So for y'all astrologists, I am one big wet ass heart chakra. That's what I am. It's unfortunate. Recently, the store has closed due to certain things, but yeah, this was a very very significant chapter in my path. So yeah, I got hired at Moonfire. There was one channeler reader that I had been using in addition to Rocky, a gentleman named Ivan Teller, and I don't know how many damn sessions I booked with Ivan, but Ivan is a full body channel. I would bounce stuff back off of through Ivan, and I would bounce stuff back off of through Rocky, and that's where I got to pick up a lot of these gifts and just kind of fact check and see where I was at, see if I was interpreting things correctly, if I was interpreting messages correctly, if I was using techniques properly with that. Just to kind of give you an idea, every channeler has their own human filter. So Nick, for example, my own spirit body, mental body, emotional body, physical body, the information, the data from my life experiences exist within the four bodies. And as a message comes through, it can be a filter. Every channel has their filter. So Rocky is about a 25% filter. Me myself, I'm probably about 25% filter. Ivan's only like a 10% filter. So just to give you an idea, what is spirit coming through, what is a channel message coming through, and what is the actual person speaking, there's a gauge, there's a scale. So yeah, I'm about 75, 80% channel, 20-25% Nick that comes through in a channel session. So like on the fly, I hit up Ivan and I'm like, bro, you yeah, teach me some. Teach me how to channel. Like I got to be able to read. I'm getting hired. Like next week's my first week. Like I don't feel comfortable charging people money for and I never did it before. So like literally like on the fly, I learned how to psychically channel with no tools, no cards, no tea leaves, no. I use my dowsing rod sometimes, but not every time, and just getting it from my own physical tool. You'll get, sometimes it'd be just a picture in the mind. Sometimes it would come through as a thought. Sometimes it come through as a feeling. Sometimes it will come. Sometimes you can hear, like you've got your little sacules inside, kind of similar to the organs that dolphins have when they use their sonar. You have that. Everybody has that inside their eardrums, and that's where you can pick these things up. So, yeah, when I started working at Moonfire, it got lit. Oh my god, just the trajectory of my path, of my skill set, of my abilities skyrocketed through the roof because I was getting more at bats. Like every Saturday and Sunday, I was talking with 2, 3, 4, 5 people that would book a session. Sometimes they book a Reiki session. Sometimes they would book a channeled session or just a reading. And keep in mind, none of this was public. Very, very few people knew I did this. Only this conscious community, only the people that I met, people that I was close with, um, that would come in and visit. They they nobody knew. Nobody knew. I was very, very selective in who I tell. I didn't put nothing on social media. I didn't put nothing on. I didn't put anything anywhere. I did not promote myself at all. I was just there Saturdays and Sundays. I could show up. They booked the sessions. People would call ahead, and and then that was that. Some days I'd get 8, 9 clients a day. Some days I wouldn't get nothing. But because I had more opportunities every Saturday and Sunday to bring this through me, my skill set, my you can call it skill set, but this the conduit increased and got so big by being hands on and being in the experience of doing it from this side of the fence now, doing it from this side of the table as a professional, um, providing a service. So, oh man, I was only really using Reiki symbols maybe a couple months, maybe 4 or 5 months before other things started to come through me. My hands started to just kind of do their own thing, um, kind of wave like this, and every time it would happen, I'd hit up the homie Ivan. Yo, Ivan, whoa, talk to me, bro. What was that? I saw this. I saw that color. I saw this shape. My hand did this thing. I saw the client's grandma. I saw angels. I saw all this stuff. I saw different colors. I saw the walls warping during sessions. I'd hit up Ivan and just get the feedback and talk through what was going on, what was happening, and uh, as if you were to look up Esther and Jerry Hicks, or Esther Hicks and Abraham, you would see that she's a full body channel. What I would consider myself in the physical is I'm a full body healer. So there are many different things, many different higher dimensional beings that will come through and do sometimes even the client's own higher self, sometimes the client's ancestors, past loved ones would come through to assist in a healing. So Nick, I'm very much out here, and other beings are coming through. Just to kind of give you an idea, during a energy healing session, anywhere from 5 to 40 different beings will come through. So just kind of give you an idea during an energy session. But while these things were happening, while different energy sessions, different clients, another technique would come through, another visual would come through, another would come through, and I at that moment I didn't know what it was. I constantly had to get feedback. I had constantly had to like pick people's brains. Hey, what are you getting? What do you let me do a little work on you. Show me what comes through. Talk to me. Um, so here I'll ramble it off. The crystalline realms, the crystalline light body will start to activate. So the crystalline realms come through. The angelic realms, angels, archangels, higher light scale, and we'll talk about the visible light scale a little later. But angelic realms, ancestral realms, uh, the literally the photonic center of the sun. Our light bands, the 700 nanometers, the 400 nanometers, come from the center of the sun. So you're literally talking with the light bands that make this place up, and it comes from the center of the sun, would shoot through me. Um, go, Golden Codex healing. If you want to look up like ancient Hebrew and Kabbalah, and the language that makes that, or light language, you'll see really it's language, but it's gold and it's different shapes, and it would different symbols, and that would come through. And one time, well, the first time it happened, uh, I saw these rings. These rings kept spinning around one of the clients. And the client was actually one of my friends, but these rings, there's probably about 6 or 7 rings, and while the client's laying down, they would expand and contract, and one would kind of go like this, and it would spin, 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 spin. And I was like, man, what is this? What is this? Spin. I look to my left, and in my mind's eye, I see Ascended Master Buddha. I'm like, Buddha, what's up, bro? Belly bump, bam, and the root chakra is this one was spinning on the root chakra. Bam! It exploded, and it just cleared out that whole everything that was within the root chakra. Um, what else? What else? Yeah, there's another one where I let me back up. So those were okay. So that technique was Ascended Master Buddha's soul rings, um, and sometimes source, which exists in all points. Source would just come through and take over, and I'm definitely like on the back seat chilling, and source overrode, and everything's just doing. It's just all this knows more than the physical Nick. So I just let it ride. But it little by little being more open, little by little being more vulnerable, little by little just letting these things happen, brought all this through. But yeah, one session there was a gal that came in. She had been dealing with the loss of a close friend, and she came in. The second she came in, she's like, "I want to book 3 sessions." That like never happens. She's like, "I want to book session here, here, here. Boom, I'll prepay." Okay, you must know something's going on. So when she's laying on the table, I start to see lights coming out of my fingers, blue, green, yellow, silver, purple, and my hands are kind of like this, and I saw her what looked like her heart chakra. It was spinning. It was green, and it was spinning. It was spinning, and I have this is all I'm seeing. This all in my mind's eye. I'm like, man, what's going on? What's going on? What is this? It would spin. It would spin. It would spin, and I could see the lights going into the heart chakra, and then after a couple minutes, it turned black. It turned pitch black. Her heart chakra turned pitch black. I'm like, oh shit! Like, what's going on? What's going on? It still kept spinning. It still kept spinning. I was still shooting lights to it. Still lights were coming out of my fingers while I was doing it. And then all of a sudden, bam! Her heart chakra, which was black, exploded into a diamond. Her heart chakra crystallized into diamond, right? And I saw it right in my mind's eye. I was like, what the fuck? Like this was crazy. So through my sessions with clients, and just the back and forth, especially working with people on a consistent basis. If I had a client that worked with me once a month or twice a month, and it was kind of a set in stone, it really helped me gauge the progress, because I could see where we were last session, where we're going to be next session, where we're a month ago, scanning the chakra system, checking the Bovis units, seeing if there's any cracks in the auras, constantly being hands-on, and having consistent work was like night and day. It's night and day what I could do or what was done for this particular client compared to one person just kind of come and go and come and go and come and go. So yeah, I learned a lot. I learned a lot during my time at Moonfire. I probably a couple months before Moonfire closed. I actually left prior to that. I just needed my weekends back, and yeah. So now, when did I leave Moonfire? It was probably so I was at Moonfire for about a year and a half, maybe a little close to 2 years. I left in October of 2018. Now we're in February 2019, and now my day job office. I got my own table. I've got clients that'll come and see me here. I work with about. I still don't promote. I still don't share this really with anybody. But now it's time. It's time to put this out there. So yeah, I have about a handful of clients now. My work now, I travel quite a bit, spend a lot of time down in Southern California, but I can still I do distance sessions. I'm actually probably better at the distance sessions than in the physical sessions. But one thing that I can do in a physical session is just more interaction and more sharing. But I've been able to pick these things up. I've been able to accomplish, a good amount of uh, just assisting others and helping people get through things like anxiety, worry, stress, fear, doubt, any of the self-sabotaging thoughts and feelings. I can unwind a lot of that. We're not born with those. We pick them up. They're accrued, and I've developed the ability to identify these in the body, in the energetic body, in the aura, and how to unwind them and how to heal them. And it's been pretty cool. It's been a good journey. It's been a good ride so far. So we'll see where this goes. We'll see where the next step is. I'd mentioned Ivan Teller. If you guys, this is more advanced stuff. If you're watching this video, or if you watch Ivan and then come to this video, um, yeah, him and I are we're going to be working together. We're going to be doing some things, doing some techniques, and just sharing. So if you get a chance to check some of his stuff out, if you're not, again, this is more advanced, kind of along the lines of full body channels of Abraham and Esther Hicks. It's kind of along the lines of what Ivan does as a channeler, as a communicator, full body, and I'm full body healer. But yeah, so that's my story. I wanted to just get this out there. I just wanted to share it with the YouTubers, YouTube universe, and for anybody who's called to watch. So I'll put some links in the bottom in the comments, and yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for watching, and I'll definitely have more as time comes, and yeah. So I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Blessings, blessings, and take care.